And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at this gigantic game called Queen Strike. Now, it's this big, humongous box because inside this box, you're going to be making this device. This is a game that requires an iPad. So, I mean, really, an iPad, not much else. And it's going to turn your iPad into 3D. Well, not quite 3D, but pseudo 3D. Also, I should mention that this game specifically, I'm assuming they'll do other games with this device at some point in the future, but this game is for very young children. Here's how it plays. So the first thing you have to do is you need to put together this device. It's basically made to look like an arcade machine. It's giant. Most of it does not matter. It's just cardboard, really, with a clear plexiglass that's going to sit here. And on top, you're going to put a cardboard piece. There's a couple cardboard pieces that come with the game for different size iPads, although they do not allow you to use the giant iPad. But hey, good thing I have a normal sized iPad. So then you find the program on here, which is called Queen Strike. You'll have to download that. It's a free app. And then you start it up. So here we see that it's from Whole Play. Tells you the story. We'll skip the story. And then we're just going to start. We're going to pick a normal game, which needs 5 notes. So we'll play that. And start. So then we have to place the tablet on top of this device here, where essentially it's now going to have the camera pointed down. Now when this happens, we're going to see, when you look here, into the device itself. So it's kind of showing, it says clear detection zone. This area here is a detection zone that players are going to be placing pieces on. And so we need to clear that to start the game up. So as long as nothing is on it, sometimes anything can mess it up. So I'm going to try to have it perfectly set up here. It says there's nothing on it. Oh. Okay. Everything's clear, so we can start anytime we want. Great. There we go. So now we're starting, and you can see here, and that's one of the bugs of the game, folks, is that sometimes there's stuff here, there's stuff on the display that will keep it from coming up. So you can see, if you look at this, it looks a little 3D. It's really not 3D. It's pseudo 3D. It's the image that's projected down onto this.
This is my kingdom.
Yes, thank you, lady. So she's the evil Queen of Hearts. And she's going to take these musical note pieces and place them on the board. So she says Choir Plaza. So we come over and let's take a look at the board itself. So on the board here, there are different spots where these musical notes are. So she just said she put one on the Choir Plaza. I put one there, and then I'm going to tap the device so it knows that I put one out. And then it will tell me where to put the next one. Tranquil Forest. And by the way, this is a translated into English. So occasionally you'll run across things that might seem weird because it wasn't originally English. All right, so Whisper Valley. So I put another token there. And you're only going to put out 3 of these to start with. And then you'll start the game. Now each player is going to have a different piece. These pieces stack on top of each other in case you're on different places, but they're each going to start on their starting places on the board. And then this game is essentially a roll and move game in which players are going to roll 3 dice. They're going to roll 2 dice for movement. These dice have 1s, 2s, and 3s on them, and another die where you're trying not to roll a bomb. So here I rolled a 5, I can move 5, and sometimes an event will happen. So when an event happens, you're going to put this event card on this detection area. So let's see what event just happened. Yay! The next 3 events are disastrous. Let's see what the next one is.
Oh no! A little hero is captured in jail. And which little hero is that?
Right, now each person has their own character card. So this one says that Walu went to jail. Walu is the green character. So now he's stuck in jail. Now, there's other ways that you can go to jail. When you go to jail, you can try to escape by placing your character card on the star, and now the game will play like a little mini game with you to try to get you out of jail. When you get out of jail, each player has 3 cards, a rock, paper, scissors, blue, red, green, whatever. So I'm looking here and it says blue and white equal what? So I need to put the right thing. So that's light blue, which is scissors. So I place that on the device here. Am I right? I am, so I get out of jail. Sometimes you actually play rock, paper, scissors against the person. Now, when you roll a bomb, you're going to put this card on, the cannon card. And what that does is it basically loads the cannon. So when the cannon is activated and you roll another cannon, you'll place it here, and then the cannon will fire at you. Which means that one of your notes that you may have gotten is removed from the board and the card comes off. So that's basically how you play. You're just going to go around, try to find these notes, go up here, and when you find a note, you put your character there, and you're going to play some mini game against her. And this mini game is Math Genius. Oh man, I feel like I'm good at math. What does it want me to do? All right, so it looks like there's the most of the red fish. But I'm going to pretend I don't know that. I'm going to put a blue fish. All right, but if I had picked red fish, then I would have been able to take the note, put it on the board. It would have put another note out on the board. And then as soon as you as a group get 5 notes on the board, you win. That's basically it. There's some other stuff that when you have 2 people on the same spot, your rock, paper, scissors cards upgrade so that you win a tie. You know, an iron... To me, if you have your fist in an iron glove, it's going to beat anybody. But anyhow, that's how you play. You all win by defeating the queen. Okay, so this game is, you know, it's a hard game to store. Putting this somewhere in your house, taking it apart and putting it back together is kind of a pain in the neck. Even this box itself is a really big box, doesn't fit on the shelf. So there's that. It's a really big game for not a big game, if you catch my drift. It's a game that's certainly for young children. We're talking 5, 6. My 7-year-old played it, and she was okay with it. She enjoyed it, and she liked the interaction, but even it was starting to feel a little too young for her. But for young kids, kindergarten age and such, this whole, what do red and white make? Count the 5 stars there. You know, play rock, paper, scissors. That's fun, but it's a roll and move game, and it's just a step up from Candyland. The game itself is, dare I say, almost a bad game. It isn't, though, because it includes that pseudo technology, right? But the game is very limited. You have to have an iPad, you have to have a young child, and you have to want to play this very specific game. I love to see this device used with more cooler games. The technology where it reads this board is pretty cool. It was slightly buggy, but each successive update of the app has made it better and better. Most of the time, it's just making sure everything is off the board. As you noticed, I had to, make sure the board was clear. But for the most part, it reads the cards correctly. It doesn't jam up that much. You will notice that it is translated from Chinese. So sometimes there'll be something that you might think is weird, and that's just a cultural switch that will happen. But kids don't notice that as much, and the whole thing is going to be really attractive to them because it's mixing electronics with a board game. So if that meets kind of what you're looking for, then check this out. I almost look at this more of as an experiment than anything else. Like, I wouldn't keep it even if I had a 5 or 6-year-old because there's just it takes up too much room. But I would play it with them. I think they would really enjoy it. My 2-year-old was too young for this. My 7-year-old was slightly too old for it, so it's kind of a very narrow window. But it does show kind of some of the things that we can do with iPads in the future. The board game's neat. What if there was like some kind of war game and this would show the results of battles on it? That would be really cool. I would really like to see something like that. But again, even then, this device is just kind of a gimmick in of itself. It's really just showing the things in 3D. That and using the camera to read a board. So that reading a board with the camera, you're going to see more of that in the future from board games. This is one of the first, so it's still a little clunky and such, but I'm sure things will get better as we go by. So I like Queen's Strike to some degree, but it's too narrow for me right now, and it feels like the stepping stone to something that's truly going to be cool. Dice Tower Judgment, a good start, but needs work.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!